Hello everyone, welcome back to Dr. Coder's medical coding classes. So today I'm going to discuss chapter 6, diseases of nervous system. So this chapter have code range of G00 to G99, that is G series. So first one is dominant or non-dominant side. Here you can see four codes G81, G83.1, G83.2 and G83.3. What are their code description? G81 is hemiplegia and hemiparesis. G83.1 monoplegia of lower limb. G83.2 monoplegia of upper limb. And G83.3 monoplegia unspecified. So what is hemiplegia and monoplegia? Plegia means paralysis. So hemiplegia means paralysis of, hemi means half. Okay, so paralysis of either right half or left half. Okay, hemiplegia means paralysis of one half or one half side of a body. Okay, so what is monoplegia? Monoplegia means paralysis of one limb, either upper limb or lower limb. So hemiplegia means paralysis of half side of a body and monoplegia means one limb of a body. So for taking codes for this hemiplegia and monoplegia, we have to identify which is the dominant and non-dominant side of the patient and also which side of the patient is affected. Okay, two things you have to note in mind, that is, first one you have to identify which is the dominant side and which is the non-dominant side, and second one is which side is affected. Okay, so we know that usually for majority of the people, right side will be dominant. Okay, so if the right side is dominant, then we have to consider automatically the left side as non-dominant. Okay, in case in the question or in the documentation, if it is mentioned as left side is dominant, means you have to take right side as non-dominant. Okay, if right side is considered as dominant means left side non-dominant. If left side is given as dominant means right side will be non-dominant. Okay, so for the first case, that is if the patient is right side dominant and that patient have hemiplegia on right side means you have to take code as hemiplegia on right dominant side. Okay, on reverse, if the right hand side dominant patient is having hemiplegia on left side means left is non-dominant for that patient. So hemiplegia on left non-dominant side. Okay. Similarly, if in the documentation it is given as left side is dominant means if that patient have left side hemiplegia, then your code will be, you have to search the code for hemiplegia on left dominant side. Okay. If the same patient have hemiplegia on right side means left side is dominant, so right will be non-dominant. So hemiplegia on right non-dominant side. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to know which is the dominant side, which is the non-dominant side, and you have to also know which side is hemiplegia is affected. Okay, next one is if not specified as which side is dominant but the affected side is documented. That is, it is not documented if the right side is dominant or left side is not dominant. Then what you have to do? Okay, if nothing is specified as dominant or non-dominant side, then by default you have to take the right side as dominant and left side as non-dominant. Okay, if nothing is mentioned as dominant or non-dominant, then by default you have to take right side as dominant, left side as non-dominant. Okay, then one more condition, ambidextrous patient. What is ambidextrous patient? Ambidextrous patient means that patient will have their both side as dominant. Okay, you may be knowing some people can write with both their left hand and right hand. Their both sides are dominant. Okay, in that case, whichever the side is affected by hemiplegia, that side should be taken as dominant. Okay, if ambidextrous patient is having hemiplegia on right side means hemiplegia on right dominant side code should be taken. If a ambidextrous patient is having hemiplegia on left side means hemiplegia on left dominant side should be taken. Okay, so you have to do one thing, take a notebook and you can write like a right hand side dominant patient, right hemiplegia, then code will be hemiplegia on right dominant side. Uh, right hand side patient, left side hemiplegia. Then the code will be hemiplegia on left non-dominant side. Like that, if you write for all conditions, then you it will be clear for you. Okay. Next one is G89 code, pain code. Okay. So first point, used in conjunction with other codes. This G89 is used along with other codes to give more detail about the type of pain like acute pain or chronic pain or neoplasm related pain. Okay, for giving more detail about the type of pain we are using this G89 code. The next point, if pain is not specified as acute or chronic or neoplasm related or post procedural or post thoracotomy pain, do not use G89. So, in the tabular list, if you see G89, you can see there will be code for acute pain, chronic pain, neoplasm related pain, post procedural pain, post thoracotomy pain, all comes under G89. Okay, if nothing is mentioned as these conditions, then you cannot use G89 code. Okay, if diagnosis is mentioned, do not assign G89 unless patient comes for pain management. Last point. That is, this G89, uh, I already said it is used to give detail about the type of pain, whether acute pain or chronic pain. But if we have diagnosis means, then we cannot use this G89 unless patient comes for pain management. That is, if the reason for the visit is treatment of pain or control of pain or management of pain, then you can give G89 even though there is diagnosis. Otherwise, if there is diagnosis means we cannot give G89 code. Okay. For example, if in the documentation it is like a patient is having right lower stomach pain, the reason for stomach pain is diagnosed as ruptured appendix. Okay. In that case, you cannot give code for acute stomach pain. Why? Because you have the diagnosis of ruptured appendix. Okay. If the diagnosis is not mentioned, if it is only as the patient is having acute lower stomach pain means you can give G89 code. And also, if the treatment is for the pain means management of pain means then also you can give G89. Okay. So understand the condition is that if diagnosis is there, you cannot give G89 unless the patient comes for pain management. If the reason for visit is pain management, then you can give G89 even though there is diagnosis. Next one is category G89 as principal or first listed code. When patient comes for pain management, here diagnosis if known should be coded after G89. So when should you code G89 as first code? When if the reason for admission or the reason for visit is treatment of pain or control of pain or management of pain, then you can give G89 as the first code. Okay, even if you have diagnosis, the diagnosis should be only coded secondly. First code will be G89, second code only will be the code for diagnosis. Next one is when patient is admitted for insertion of neurostimulator for pain management. Okay, if the reason for admission is insertion of neurostimulator, okay, that is for what? That is also for pain management. So basically, if the reason is for pain management, then you have to code G89 as the first listed code. Next one, use of G89 codes in conjunction with the site specific pain code. So what is site specific pain code? For example, if there is a condition like a patient is having acute neck pain, Then you can give two pain codes. First one is acute pain code and the second one is neck pain or code for cervicalgia. Okay, neck pain, that is the site of the pain code. That is the site specific pain code. Okay, so in that case you can give two pain codes. One is to specify as acute or chronic and the second one is to describe about the site of the pain, location of the pain. Okay. Next one is sequencing of G89 with the site specific pain code. That is, you have G89 code, acute or chronic pain code, and also you have site specific pain code. In the previous example, neck pain or cervicalgia code. Then which should be coded first? We can see. Depends on the circumstance of admission or encounter. First one, if the reason is pain management, first code will be G89, second code will be site specific pain code. That is, if the patient comes to the hospital for treatment of pain, okay, and there is G89 and site specific pain code. If the reason is for pain management means always you have to code G89 as the first code, site specific pain code is the second one. Okay, then second one, if encounter is anything other than pain management, definitive diagnosis is not established. That is, patient comes with some kind of acute or chronic pain and also site of pain is also mentioned and also diagnosis is not established, patient is not coming for the management of pain. Okay, the treatment is for something other than pain management. Then what all things you have to code is first one is site specific pain code, second one is G89. So basically in all case, if the patient comes for pain management and if you have acute or chronic pain is mentioned, then the first code will be G89. Okay. The next one is post-operative pain. What is post-operative pain? Post-procedural pain. No, the pain that the patient, the unexpected pain that the patient have after surgery or procedure. Okay. Default if not specified as acute or chronic is acute. That is, if in the documentation if it is not mentioned as acute postoperative pain or chronic postoperative pain, then you have to take it as acute postoperative pain. Okay. The next one, routine or expected postoperative pain immediately after surgery is not coded. That is, you know that after every surgery there will be a expected pain, a routine pain will be there. Okay, that you need not code. Okay, that expected pain is not no need to code. Okay, then what you have to code? Two conditions. Postoperative pain not associated with a specific postoperative complication and postoperative pain associated with a specific postoperative complication. First one, postoperative pain not associated with a specific postoperative complication. There is no specific postoperative complication like the patient experience unknown pain after surgery. Okay, if such conditions are there means you can give the code for postoperative pain G89 series. Okay, then the second one is postoperative pain associated with specific postoperative complication. One example is pain after post operation or surgery. If the patient is having painful suture wires or like specific complication. Okay, one specific complication is mentioned means then you have to code appropriate code from chapter 19, that is T series. T series is having pain from specific complication codes. Okay. Next one is chronic pain. So what is acute and chronic pain? Acute pain means recent, sudden in onset. Chronic pain means uh, prolonged. No, it's of long duration. So pain code for chronic pain is G89.2. Even though the chronic means long term duration, you cannot code this G89.2 as your own wish. That is, providers documentation is required to code for G89.2. Okay, there is no time frame defining when patient becomes chronic. Even though the pain is an old pain, you cannot take it as a chronic and G89.2 should not be coded. There should be mentioned as the pain is chronic pain. Then only you can code as G89.2. Okay, that is the mentioned as provider's documentation is required. Next one is neoplasm related pain. Neoplasm related means cancer related. No. Okay, the code for neoplasm related pain is G89.3. Next point, assigned regardless of whether pain is acute or chronic. So for this neoplasm related pain, uh, you should not consider whether it is acute or chronic. Okay, no importance for that. Then next one, sequencing. If reason for admission is pain management, that is the patient is having neoplasm and the patient is having pain that is related to neoplasm, and the patient is currently admitted to hospital for the pain management due to neoplasm. Then how should you code? Okay, so as the reason for admission is pain management, always code first G89, G89.3, and secondly you have to code underlying neoplasm. Okay, what is the condition here? The reason for admission is pain management. Okay, then first is G89 code, then underlying neoplasm code. The second one is if reason for admission is management of neoplasm and patient also have pain associated with it. Okay, here the patient is having neoplasm, patient is having pain related to neoplasm, but currently patient comes to hospital for treatment of neoplasm, not for treatment of pain. Okay, patient currently comes for treatment of neoplasm, but the patient also has pain related to neoplasm. Then, as patient currently comes for management of neoplasm, first code for the underlying neoplasm, secondly code for G89.3 neoplasm related pain code. Okay, here site specific pain code is also not needed. Okay, for neoplasm related pain, acute or chronic is not considered, and also site specific pain code is also not needed. Okay, then last one, chronic pain syndrome. In addition to all the above discussed conditions, G89 codes also have two syndromes, that is central pain syndrome and chronic pain syndrome. The code for chronic pain syndrome is G89.4 and code for central pain syndrome is G89.0. Okay, so this chronic pain syndrome is nothing related to chronic pain. Okay, for chronic pain syndrome, you should not code chronic pain code. Okay, this is a syndrome, this is a different condition. Okay, chronic pain syndrome is different from chronic pain. Okay, so to code for the syndromes, the provider's documentation is required. That is, the provider should clearly mention as chronic pain syndrome or central pain syndrome. So that's all for this chapter. This chapter is little bit confusing, but once you get the idea means, then it is very easy and very interesting chapter also. Two things you have to note in your mind. First one, you have to get the idea of about the dominant and non-dominant side, and also secondly, you have to get the idea that about the G89 when you should code it first. Always think if the patient comes for pain management, and if acute or chronic is mentioned means G89 should be coded first. That is the main key for this. Okay, so that's all, and if you have any doubt means you can ask in the comment section. I'll come with another video. Thank you.